Welcome back to a best of 3 series of professional StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a Terran versus Zerg, where in game number 1, we find ourselves on the map Lightshade. Spawning here in the bottom right hand corner and playing with the blue Terran SCVs, we have one of the highest ranked Terrans in the world, and his name is Cure. His opponent in the opposite corner with the red Zerg drones, an old school StarCraft professional. Back then he used to go under the name of Dong Regu, but these days, most people refer to him as DRG. Alrighty, so here we go. Now, I heard that this series is awesome. Generally speaking, I try to put a little bit of time in between the different pro gamers that I cast. So, for example, in one of my most recent videos, I actually covered Cure versus Rogue, if I'm not mistaken. That was a really fun series, but it's not been very long since I last casted a Cure game. Here's the thing, though. In 2021 so far, there's a bit of a replay drought. This doesn't sound too good, but it's really not that bad. Couple of reasons as to why. Well, first off, this is going to come as a bit of a surprise, but as you may be aware, it was the holiday season, and it turns out, and bear with me here, okay, this is going to be a stretch. Pro gamers are people too. I'm assuming at the very least that a lot of them decided to spend a little bit of time away from the keyboard and not participate in as many tournaments. And also, actually, there weren't that many tournaments going on, obviously, because turns out tournament organizers are also... I know, it's really crazy. So, there's not that many replays because of the fact that it was the holiday season. Secondly, though, the last big tournament of 2020 was the TSL 6, the Team Liquid Star League. Now, after the tournament wrapped up, I reached out to the tournament organizers and asked if they were going to release the replay pack. They said they were going to, but it's been a couple of weeks. I'm still waiting. I mean, players like Cyril and Clem and Raynor and basically all the top guys were participating in that event. And obviously, if they're participating in one of those big online ones, they generally speaking don't participate in others just because, you know, they want to focus on one thing at once. And, well, sadly, the replay pack for that is not yet available, and I don't really know exactly if it will. That's another reason. And then lastly, if you've been trying to play StarCraft 2 over the last 2 weeks or so, you may have encountered a bunch of bugs. A lot of online tournaments were cancelled because co-op versus apparently even parts of the campaign, achievements, the StarCraft 2 arcade, making custom lobbies, like basically all of the things that had to do with the server, which is pretty much all of the things, didn't work properly. There were a lot of crashes and a lot of problems going on in SC2 in general. If you went to the StarCraft Reddit, people thought that the end times were nigh, but it turns out that, once again, the people working at Blizzard, believe it or not, are also people. So they are slowly fixing them right now, actually. I believe Europe has been fixed entirely as of yesterday. And apparently North America is now also better, I think, although I don't really play on NA. But basically, long story short, I don't have as many replays as I would like to. Now, obviously, with 2021 starting off strong once again, we have the ESL Open Cups that will continue very soon. There's also the Olimo League, of course, which is what this series of games is from. And, you know, tournaments will slowly start back up again as well. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that I have a whole lot of Cure replays that I definitely want to cast. So I heard that this series is awesome, especially game number 2. So we'll find out what ends up going down here together. It's been 3.5 minutes, and the reason why I haven't really talked about the game so much is because of the fact that everything is very normal. Nothing out of the ordinary. I would say the most notable thing here is that Cure decided to skip all scouting. So he decided to skip the SCV scout, didn't go for a scout with, for example, a Reaper Eater. He just went straight into the Marines. One thing that I do like about the straight-up Marine opener is that you can oftentimes find yourself in a really, really good spot with timing attacks, right? So, for example, if you decide to go for a push right here, obviously you're going to have slightly more Marines than you would normally have, unless you lose the medevac. All right, good response time. Good response time right there by Cure. One thing that I don't really like, though, about going for, or I guess foregoing the Reaper Scout and SCV Scout entirely, is that if this would have been a Zerg all-in, you just wouldn't know. Like, you have literally no intel at all. Turns out in this particular game, though, DRG is playing very normal, but this is something worth noting. I actually like the fact, though, that Cure decided to mix this into the strategies as well. I mean, if you're going to do it in a best of 3 series, I actually think game number 1 is a pretty good spot for it. The odds of your opponent cheesing in this series, in game number 1 at the very least, like especially someone like DRG, who's just known for playing macro, they're not super big, so I think it's a pretty good choice. Now, we have the double Evo Chamber follow-up. Okay. So what exactly... There's just going to be a third command center right now at the front. Double Evo is a little bit risky. The reason why I think that is the case is because usually with the Marine opener first, Terran is going to have slightly more units when they go for a timing attack. So there's usually, like, broadly speaking, a couple different ways you can open a Zerg. Either you go quick Baling Nest with Lair, you go either quick Spire, or you go quick upgrades. The quick upgrades are very good if you don't die in the process, right? Like, you're not going to have a whole lot. So right now is when the Lair comes up and when we also see that Baling Nest being put down. In the meantime, though, on the other side of the map, there is already an armory coming up. Stimpack is about halfway done. There is a third CC, so this is actually a macro build right now from DRG, or sorry, from Cure. But this is a point in the game where DRG can definitely take a bunch of damage, right? So the armory unlocks the ability for the Hellions to unlock into Hellbats. All of a sudden, they're like, wait a second, what happens if I press this button? There you go, they found the button. And this is actually a pretty formidable army because there's no banelings, right? There's nothing. There's just queens. Now, you can defend this with just queens. How many queens are we at? 8 queens, actually, which is a very respectable amount. Zerglings trying to go around the back. One thing that I love about this is that, of course, that medevac can now be used as well. Ooh, good boost right there, actually, at the last possible second. The medevac can be used here as well to now heal up those Hellbats. Hellions cannot be healed by a medevac, but Hellbats can. They're all of a sudden biological as well. And this is already... It's already a lot of damage. Now, only a single drone goes down. There's, in the meantime, apparently also that Banshee now inside of the main base. It's picking up a lot of kills. And reinforcing Hellions roll up towards those drones. And you know what? That's game. That's... Yeah, you can't come back from that. No way, dude. 27 workers go down. Well, this... It feels kind of good as a caster when you point out that, you know, this is a vulnerability in the playstyle. And then they... then they end up getting absolutely shreked by it. I mean, you can continue playing this, right? He is at 69 supply. Well, no longer. That was pretty nice. But he is slowly dropping. And even if you clean this up, right? This is still 3cc Terran we're talking about right now. And whenever you're playing... Yeah, whenever you're playing 2 base Zerg against 3 base Terran, that's not really where you want to be at. Alrighty, so here we go. Game number 2 will take us to a Romanticide. Now... This was the game that was recommended to me by one of you guys, so thank you very much for reaching out to me. If you ever see an awesome game of StarCraft 2, please reach out to me. Probably the easiest way is Twitter. I mean, I tend to watch all of the later stages of the premier tournaments and all that, right? But especially for, like, the smaller online cups, like, for example, the ESL Open Cup, like, for example, the Olimo League, and all of those other smaller tournaments that are happening. I can't possibly watch all of it because there's so much. But if you ever see an awesome game, please let me know. Because that way I can maybe cast that game as well. And then, obviously, that saves me a whole lot of time. And then we can, you know, turn this into a bit of a collaboration in that way. Anyways, this game was recommended to me. Now, one of the reasons why I like casting series usually a little bit more than just a singular game is because series tend to, like, tell a bit of a story. For example, if Cure decides to once again forgo that Reaper Scout here in the early game, I wouldn't be surprised at all if DRG decides to play a little bit more safely, right? And that's one of the things that you can only really get from watching a series. You need to know the strategies that were played in the previous games to figure out what ends up going down in this particular one here as well. Now let's see. Does Cure once again decide to go straight into a factory here? No SCV Scout, by the way. Usually you go for the SCV Scout. Yeah, this one is going to go to the natural to build the command center. Yep, straight into a Marine. Okay, so this is one of those builds that you don't want to be playing on the ladder, but I actually do like it in tournament matches quite a bit, right? So he's going command center on the low ground right now, and he's got 1 Marine. Now, if you would do this on the ladder, I'm pretty sure that 1 out of 3 games you play as a Terran, you will just straight up lose because the Zerg player decided to go quick gas geyser, quick spawning pool, quick link speed, right? And then all of a sudden you have to deal with a bunch of Zerglings on your side of the map. I do like this, though, if you play a tournament, just because, you know, you keep your opponent guessing, right? This is technically an inferior build, but it opens up... Like, it's a corner that's being cut right now from Cure, right? He's getting maximum income. He's taking a bit of a gamble, but he's doing that off of the idea that his opponent isn't really known to go for cheesy openers anyway. That could punish this right away. So at this point, DRG knows as well that it's not going to be a Reaper opener. Still decided to go for the 4 Zerglings here regardless. I mean... kind of hard to forgo those, but we'll see what he decides to follow up right now. So I think, well, in a little bit anyway, excuse me, I think that he's probably going to go for a safer approach this time around. If it's going to be the exact same Hellbat push, that would be kind of funny. if he decides to go for literally the exact same build. All right, yeah, look how long it takes for our command center to finish up as well, man, when you put it on spot. This always seems so risky to me. He's literally had, like, 2-3 units here. Actually, no, he's literally, yeah, he's just got the 3rd Marine right now. That's, all right. Very, very, very greedy. Anyways, Zerg doesn't really care, it seems, so far. Just decides to continue droning here for the time being. Zerg's always happy, though, making drones, right? Since Zerg obviously has that larva mechanic where the larvae spawn every once in a while, they will be able to produce many more workers all at once than the other players can. So, generally speaking, DRG is not really going to be too bothered by this. He actually hits a small little supply block. He's waiting for that 3rd base to finish up right now. That is a little bit sloppy, though. That is a little bit sloppy. Wouldn't really expect that from this level of play. Like, if you were to watch Cyril do this kind of thing, there's no way he's going to take a supply block at this point. Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's actually kind of funny. Like, I get that question all the time, right? Like, what is it that separates the best players in the world from, like, you know, the guys that are just below that? Like, what is the difference? A lot of it is just those very, very small things. That was like a 5-second supply block that was entirely unnecessary, right? If you look at, like, for example, Cyril's early games, they're going to be extremely clean. There's not really going to be any wasted time. He's going to be, like, even this queen positioning is inferior right now. They have energy for tumors. Maybe he's purposely saving up energy, though. That could very well be the case, yeah. He's already got the spine coming up as well, so he just wants to be safe here. But it's just, you know, it's just not as optimal. It's not as optimal as the way that the guys at the tippity top play. And DRG is, like, I don't really know exactly where he would rank right now, but he would probably rank top 10 Zerg, right? Like, the guy is very good, so I don't know. It's, yeah, it's a never-ending debate. That being said, though, if you play too rigidly, and I actually sometimes feel like that may be the case whenever you watch Cyril play, he sometimes plays a little bit too rigidly. You also, yeah, aren't flexible, right? Like, it's good to be rigid, but up to a certain point. I actually, because of that, I actually feel like Raynor has more potential in a lot of those games, because Raynor plays very rigidly as well, but he's also very flexible and can move a lot more on the fly, whereas I feel like if you watch Cyril play, it's all perfect, don't get me wrong. And I guess, technically speaking, that may be superior, but as time goes by, especially when players purposefully start playing inferior builds, like we have been seeing already recently, just to throw the opponent off. Like, that was cute as well, that little pickup micro there. What is that? He only loses 1 Marine here. Actually, did he? No, he lost none. He actually just brought 7. Very cute. Anyways, you can see that people are already starting to play riskier builds just to try and cut corners and just to try and throw the opponent for a loop and just to try and obtain an advantage in whatever way they can. It's kind of neat. Anyways, so this time around, by the way, to come back to my earlier point, we do indeed have a quick lair. We do indeed have a quick baneling nest. Wouldn't be surprised to see the baneling speed starting. Yep, there it is. And then probably 1-1 into a Spire. Since he's taking 6 gases, Spire is basically inevitable right now. Alright, so 2 worker kills so far. Clean defense, though, by DRG, don't get me wrong. Like, if you defend like this in your games, you're going to be able to, you know, go straight to top 10 GM, right? Like, it's very impressive, but it's, yeah, it's just not absolutely perfect. I love this little hit squad, by the way. What is this even? So don't get me wrong. There is an advantage to playing optimal builds, right? But what Cure has been doing here is definitely not that. This is a 7 Marine drop at, like, what was that? Like the 4.5 minute mark? It's just trying to, like, slowly obtain a macro advantage, I suppose. But it is a little bit odd. I love it, though. It's kind of neat, right? He's playing a build that would not be good on the ladder. This is what I mean. Like, it's a lot more flexible in a way. He's like, yeah, okay, just wing it. Put a couple boys in a medevac, see where we go. Maybe it's calculated, but I feel like he's mostly winging it here. Now, this is nice, actually. Forcing the council on that 4th base is very painful. Was a council, right? Yeah. Zerg, generally speaking, makes a lot of units while waiting for the 4th base. So basically, the way that Zerg performs in these kind of scenarios is you try to saturate 3 bases as soon as possible. So you try to go up to 66 workers, which is what you need to saturate 3 bases entirely. Then you plant down the 4th base, maybe even 2 4th bases, right? You go 4th and 5th at the same time. or for example, a 4th and a macro hatch. And then while you're waiting for that hatchery to finish up, you make non-stop units. And that's basically what DRG just now did, but then he still ended up losing the 4th base anyway. It slows things down quite a bit, and it now, you know, makes him have all these units, but not really the option to drone up at this point. So, nice advantage here for Cure for sure. For Cure for sure? Hey, nice. The unintentional rhyme. I'm basically a rep god. Now, one thing that we saw recently in DRG versus Rogue is exactly what Cure has been doing here. So he goes very quick second factory, and now he goes into the Drilling Claws upgrade as well. Now, Drilling Claws allows these bad boys to burrow extremely quickly, very efficiently. This can deal a lot of damage. I'm a big fan of this build. It's very strong. So while the Zerg is actually busy over here, there's Widow Mines now in the natural. Ay, 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 ay. Oof, that's 15 drones just like that. And that completely justifies going for that second factory already. He actually left one of the Widow Mines inside of the Medivac. And just like that, we're talking 21 drones that end up going down. Isn't that sick? Simultaneously, he's pushing over here too, while Zerg is desperately trying to add on additional workers here again. Brave move right now from DRG, though, to continue droning while he sees that there is a unit composition right on his creep, but he recognized it for what it was. Just a hit squad, just a scare tactic there. I would have probably panicked, actually, and made like a ton of Zerglings there. Ton of Zerglings, Banelings, Mutas, and then all of a sudden you're sitting at 60 drones versus 4 base Terran. Nice. Good moves here, though, from Cure. Really liking it. Man, these Medivac drops are insane. He's gotten so good at those. Yeah, so certain advantage right now for Cure. He's ahead when it comes to the income. Well, yeah, not entirely, but he's like in a good spot as far as income goes. He's ahead in upgrades. He's ahead in tech, I would say, because he's already making Thors here as well. And he has been able to macro up without really taking any losses. So, very good situation for him to be in. Now, what do you want to do as Zerg right now? Well, first off, you don't want to take more damage. Top priority, don't take more damage. This is forcing all of those units once again home, by the way, yeah. So even if you lose all of this, I still, like, don't mind it too much. I mean, you got a little bit of damage done there, right? That's a Medivac and then, yeah, 4 Widow Mines. It's not super expensive, but if you can force all of those Mutas off of your back, it's not the end of the world. So 2-2 finished up. This was a good opportunity for the Terran player to attack if he wanted to, but he decided to just go straight into the 3-3 upgrades instead. Just macros up on 4 bases. What do you do right now as Zerg, though? Well, you basically try to, like, take map control, right? Do some counter-attack damage, exactly what he's doing right over here. Force the Terran to maneuver around. Completely blew up that wall. So as Terran progressively expands more and more, right? So we see the 4th base floating on over there. He's probably going to take the 5th base up there, right? Maybe go for a 6th base down below. 7th base in the center. I don't know. Basically what I'm trying to say is, like, when the Terran player keeps expanding, they will be spread more and more thinly, right? Because you can only commit units in one place at a time. So right now, for example, you can see he's splitting his units between his 4th and his 3rd base. Which is worth noting because the Zerg is way more mobile. So Zerg can go around the map and harass those outer bases very easily. Already, the 5th base has been taken right here on the left-hand side as well, and DRG has easily caught up in that worker count, now comfortably sitting at 89 workers, which is really good if you plan on continuously trading. He starts up the Adrenal Glands, Ultralis Cavern, +3 Carapace upgrade as well. He's going to be able to continue playing. Now, if he can kill these engineering base, that would be absolutely fantastic. I think what Cure wants to go for right now is an attack right when these upgrades finish up. Oh. Alright, well, they are going to finish, I think. A good response time right there by Cure. Leaving that Thor over there as well. Like the Thor in the natural. I would never put it there, but it turns out it's a smart move. I actually don't like the positioning on those NG base, though. Like, I feel like you need to put them, I don't know, like literally anywhere else, but it's popular to put your bases in, or your structures, rather, in vulnerable locations. It's very popular, actually, at top-level StarCraft. Just put your most important structures in the most risky position. I mean, this doesn't look so risky, but it is a bit of a gamble. Creep spread, by the way, starting to look really promising here as well. Another base has been taken in the 12 o'clock position. 2 Banshees over here. These are the Banshees from earlier. 2 and 3 kills under their belts, respectively. Ghost Academy comes up right now as well in the natural of the Terran player. Okay, I like it. Since Terran's now maxed out, though, he's going to go for 3 additional command centers, which is not to be underestimated. Doesn't really need those benchies anymore, so even though they thought they were going on a mission, really this is just a mission to get sacrificed. You want to replace them with units that have more value, and apparently that's going to be the Thor in this particular case. Majority of the Terran army right now moving out towards the top section of the map. Getting a council or a kill on that 4th or 6th, rather. I was going to say 4th. Not be bad at all. Good detonations right there by the Zerg. At the same time, the Banelings are rolling on over towards this newly acquired planetary, and that one does indeed blow up. At the same time, the Mutas are right now over at the 3rd base, and this is where you can see the Zerg player really making use of that mobility, right? Don't get me wrong, like the Terran Bio army, it's not immobile by any stretch of the word, but there's no denying that Zerg is able to maneuver around the map very, very easily. And this is buying time, right? So basically what you do as a Zerg right now is you invest thousands of resources into a lot of things that don't give you value until like 3 minutes later. It takes forever to finish those 3/3 upgrades. Even starts up the +3 flyer attacks right now. So you spend tons of money on things that don't really give you a whole lot. He's just trying to buy time though. Keep this Terran player pinned back. Don't think that this is going to really achieve a whole lot, but it's once again going to force this Terran player to cower in fear behind the wall, right? And this buys time for the Zerg to eventually finish their upgrades. Terran right now, though, engaging the full turtle mode. Building armor even is being researched. 5th command center is going to finish up. Okay, I was going to say, like, I think you want to get a planetary. Yeah, okay. I thought he was going to float this one over. Cloaking field's coming up. Ghost is coming up as well. I like it. Ghosts are fantastic, of course, when it comes to sniping down those Ultralisks in particular. Speaking of which, as the Mutas are currently in the natural, they fly away as soon as the Terran army approaches. The majority of the Zerg army right now is down south. Brilliant maneuvering here by DRG so far, man. Wasn't a massive fan of his early game, but this like mid to late game army that he's been playing so far has been looking very, very nice. Now, good defense here though by Cure, but he ends up losing quite a bit. Inevitably, a bunch of those Banelings will connect, right? And oop, even gets a kill on another command center over there. Planetary Fortress here on the right-hand side of the map. Didn't quite start up yet. The Marines once again use their combat drugs to run on over with their little legs over towards this location as fast as possible. DRG, though, once again paying attention. At this point, Cure has decided to start researching a tactical nuke. Alrighty. He's got a lot of idle workers over here that he really needs to take care of, to be honest. He's also starting to push back some of the creep over here, which is nice. Is there, yeah, there's a couple ghosts. We saw some of them on the production tab, but... Okay, finally those idle workers go back to mining. But I guess that's where the Zerg players really feel good, right? They try to create chaos here for the Terran player. They try to, like, set their car on fire and... and their little shed that's down on the yard, and... If they can get a hold of your roof, man, they will put the roof on fire as well, just to force the Terran player to go all over the place and run around with their extinguisher. Maybe not the best analogy. Now, here we go. Tactical nuke, floating on over towards the freaking 3rd base. He's actually not looking at all. He's just gonna continue onwards with the aggression. I don't know if I entirely agree with that, although the 5th base over here goes down. Zerg is gonna start taking a lot of damage here, though. Yeah, look at that. Hold up, I want to see it again. Usually what we see at this point in the game is a Zerg player backing off. But there it is. That is an awful lot of damage going on. Or going down, rather. 18 drones. Such an awkward position as well, right? Nuking the freaking 3rd base. This, oh my god, he's got 34 kills. Or she got 34 kills. Nice. Bit of a gamble. I don't know why I decided to continue committing there. I guess he's like, you know what? He's probably nuking one of my outer bases. I've got so much money, I can just replace the drones. He does have a lot of money, though, to be fair. He's already back down, or back up, rather, to 89 of those drones. You know what, actually? I didn't really consider that, but I guess if you have a lot of minerals in the bank... I mean, the mineral to gas ratio here for DRG has been kind of whack for a little while now. I guess it's fine to lose that much. Yeah. Felt kind of bad to me, but... Whenever I see 18 drones die, it seems like a bad situation to be in. But if you can kill 20 on the other side of the map in the meantime, it's not so bad. 5th base, though. I mean, it ended up going down, right? So it's been replaced with an orbital command. I do think, actually, that's the orbital command that we saw over there earlier. I do not like an orbital on this location at all. Wouldn't be surprised at all to see the 1-2 punch once again going down. So the Zerg army over here down south, and then another big army over here up north. And if the Terran units are really busy running over in this direction, I mean, they're gonna find a dead command center, right? Like, they're not gonna really get that much done. Either that, or Terran's gonna be forced to split up their units permanently. So is he gonna move on over from this location? Yeah, he is gonna move those units over as well. This is a gamble, though, for Terran, because you don't actually know where the rest of the Zerg army is at, right? But he needs the units over here as well, it turns out. There you go. Big detonations going down. The Ghost, though, using their steady targeting to get rid of those Ultralisks. So this time around, it seems like DRG escapes, but I mean, just a handful of Zerglings could have absolutely ravaged this base, right? And he doesn't know. So this is just Terrans crossing their fingers and hoping that there's not gonna be additional Zerg. I guess those are the moves you need to make if you want to get back into the game, though. Man, DRG is really good. These are very difficult games to play. Super swarmy, right? Like, incredibly swarmy. Constantly spreads more and more creep. Like, even little things like the Overlord positioning over here to provide high ground so you can actually put the tumors down. Often overlooked thing, but not to be underestimated. Now here goes another stealth assassin. She's walking really fast. She's got creep on her boots, okay? It sucks. Alright, so another nuke over here. Same location as we saw earlier. This is kind of a dumb location, but I kind of like it. Normally, it's one of the outer bases. But yeah, not this time. Is there, like, I'm trying to think if there's an English equivalent for the saying een ezel stoot zich in het algemeen geen twee keer aan dezelfde steen. That's a Dutch saying. It's like, hold up, let me see. Yeah, I think I found like an English variant of the same thing. But basically in Dutch it would translate directly to something along the lines of a donkey will not hit his, like, feet on the same rock twice. Sayings make very little sense when you translate them directly. But apparently the English version is like once bitten, twice shy. Or another alternative, a burnt child dreads the fire. Something along those lines. So basically what I'm trying to say is, like, if you do it in the same location twice, the odds of your opponent looking there are pretty big, right? Oof, that is quite a bit of Terran, though, going down here. Didn't think you were gonna learn any Dutch sayings today, huh? I have a very educational YouTube channel. I should label this video under education, actually. I think that's... seems like a good idea to me. This is a sick game, though. Like, Terran is desperately trying to crawl back into this game, and don't get me wrong, I still think that this is DRG's game to lose. But Cure just needs one more base. If he grabs this expansion over here... Nah, Zerg actually is then still 2 bases ahead. Well, that one's not gonna happen. Gotta run. If you can grab the expansion over here, you can probably max out relatively easily. I'm just looking at the bank here of the Zerg. And the fact that Zerg actually can take the 2 expansions down south as well. Because if Terran's focusing all of their attention over here, Zerg can just grab the 2 bases that are normally the Terrans, right? The one in the center of the Terran side and the one at the bottom. Once again, though, the Thors are getting in some sick damage. But the roll... oh my god, the roly-polies. Once more, blow up 14 of these SCVs. Insane. DRG is thinking rinse and repeat, baby. Let's go again. He's very low on the gas. Yeah, so I actually like this. I actually really like this. I don't know why he's taking... like, he's not taking the gases over here. He's been low on gas for quite some time. He's never taken the ones over here. Yeah, it's a little bit sloppy. Probably too busy making Zerglings. This is actually a bit dangerous, though. My god, that's a lot of Zerglings, though, dude. Do you think he's forgotten that he's playing StarCraft 2, not StarCraft 1? Zerglings are real good in StarCraft 1, right? I mean, Marines, I guess, are not so good in StarCraft 1. 2 flippy flappies over here, thinking about life. But yeah, look at this. Like, we are 60 supply up right now as Zerg. Terran's completely broke, but he is securing the base. I am so impressed that despite all of the pressure that Cure has been under here, that he has still secured that base. Actually insane, though. How in the world did he just do that? He's been 60 supply behind for the majority of the game. And, I mean, there's a nuke in there, man. Oof. The nuke is gone. Apparently, with all the Terran reinforcements right now hanging out in the top right-hand corner, DRG is like, wait a second. If you're going to be hanging out over there, you're going to create a literal minefield. I'll just go ahead and fight the, you know, the throat, right? I'll just go after the chokehold over here and try to dismantle your main bases. This is huge because right now, I mean, that's where the production is at, right? I mean, DRG still has... I almost called him Dirk. I glanced at the bottom of the screen and I was ready to call him Dirk. Dirk is gonna try his very best to just overwhelm this Terran player. He really needs more gas. Finally, he took the gases down below. Do you think Dirk is a time traveler? That he heard me shout about this in the future while playing this game in the past? Do you think he lives in a Matrix? Is that also the reason why he's been good at StarCraft for like a decade? Dude. Next level. Now the Terran right now is walking the Zerg units over in the direction of where the Widow mines are. At this point though, like does Terran even, or does Zerg even really care? Banelings blow up an orbital command. Not something you see all too often. At the same time, those mutas, my god. DRG, yeah, those mutas are once more going to town. Absolute insanity of a Zerg game. The person that recommended this game to me, though, I can imagine. I can imagine what race they play in StarCraft 2. Alrighty, so that brings us to game number 3, match point for this series, which will be on Pillars of Gold. Alrighty. Now, like I said earlier, this is indeed a match from the Olimo League tournament. Highly recommend you go ahead and check out that Patreon page. It is down below in the description of this video, a link to that Patreon page. There's also actually a link to my Patreon page down below. I'm just sprinkling it in there, okay? I'm just pointing it out. It is. There is a link. No, but seriously, like, all kidding aside, you should go ahead and have a look at their page. They've been putting out awesome content, and one of the reasons why I can cast as much StarCraft 2 as I can is because of them. So, go ahead and check them out. Now, I like this. Okay. Wasn't quite paying attention there to the production tab yet, but DRG is like, wait a second, you've been playing that stupid Marine first opener where you don't even scout every single game of the series so far. Watch me. You could go Ravagers. Nah, it's just an extractor trick to get out an additional worker. The question is, though, is Terran gonna go ahead and build a Reaper first? Does Cure have the galaxy-sized brain to realize that his opponent might think this now after 2 games in a row? Yep, galaxy-sized brain confirmed. We don't even need to see whether or not he's going to be going for, well, I mean, this is not a Marine, right? Like, Jimmy's not going to walk over there and then walk all the way around. That makes no sense. Yep, it's going to be a Reaper first. This is some clever little player by Cure. I mean, it's not a huge deal. I think he's only going to commit to like 6 lings and ling speed. He should actually only commit to that much. Yeah, he's just going to expand behind. Oh, he goes for more. Maybe 10 lings, okay? If he goes any more than 10 lings, I disagree. So we're talking 8 Zerglings right now. What's this one going to be? What will that drone or that larva be when he grows up? Oh, nothing. There's going to be a queen first. So I think this larva will become an overlord. That's beautiful. When I grow up, I also want to be an overlord. So this is where things get a little tough. Now, you know what, actually? Yeah, even though this has technically been scouted, there's still a command center on the low ground. There's a Marine coming up right now, too. But, I mean, this is not actually so bad here for DRG at all. Even though it's pretty clever here by the Terran. He's now going to find himself against the Zerg player who's still on 1 base. And guess what? The Lynx now will, regardless of what ended up going down here, despite the galaxy-sized brain of Cure, it turns out it's a smooth brain. It's so big that there's no wrinkles anymore. So it's, you know... Okay, maybe I should stop the analogy. But you get what I'm trying to say, right? Like, that made so much sense, and then it made very little sense. So forcing the council actually on that, or even the kill, well, no, it wasn't a kill actually. Forcing the council right there on the CC is quite big. Quite big. Now, obviously, he's just going to replant it down in the main base. But it forces Terran to now go for a faster additional depot, because otherwise things go bad. Command centers are basically giant supply depots, in case you're unfamiliar. They give you a lot of supply. Alright. So. Ooh. That Reaper was just enjoying the view. The Zerglings have been hunting around the map here for a while. This is awkward. They're both looking for each other, it seems. Although Cure wants to dodge them. DRG wants to find them. He's going to be able to get back into the main base, I think, relatively easily if he wants to. Alright, Cloaking Field now is a follow-up here from the Terran. This is one of those builds that that's become more popular again recently. It wasn't very popular for like the second half of 2020, it seemed. But, well, maybe, yeah, okay. It was popular for a while, and then it kind of fell out of style, and now we're going back into it. So double tech lab here for the Terran, so once more a bio opener. That's a little bit of a shame. We haven't seen really Terran mech at the pro level in quite some time, or at least I haven't. So double tech lab is really all you need to see right now. He's just getting some additional scouting intel, and I guess this overlord was dead anyway, so decides to sacrifice it for the greater good. Terran's gonna send out a couple of these units, not all of them. Doesn't know where the Zerglings are, remember? So you have to always keep that in mind. Like, we know right now that the Lings are on the other side of the map, but Terran doesn't. For all he knows, the Lings could be over here, and it could be an overlord, like, watching over this area of the map, and then as soon as you see the Terran units leave, the Zerglings run in. So only a couple of them actually move out. This does mean, though, that this is a good position for DRG to be in. I don't think Cure is going to be able to deal too much damage. Ooh, he skipped the Baneling Nest. Yeah, I don't like that. Oh my god, there's once again an armory coming up. He skipped the Baneling Nest. He's going straight into Spire, I think. But he's not actually got the amount of gas that he needs to go straight into a Spire. No, he will. He will. Never mind. I thought the Spire... Or, sorry, I thought the lair was already going to finish up, but... why the gamble? Yeah, I'm not a big fan. So he can go straight into a Spire right now and pump out a bunch of Mutas, which I think is what he's going for. Yeah. But... So, Hellbats are going to be a disaster. This is you basically as a Zerg crossing your fingers hoping that Terran's not going to go Hellbats. It's going to be great once the Mutas come out, but... Yeah, now you see them. Alright. Yeah, it's an unnecessary gamble. I guess it's one of those moves, though, where, like, if it would have worked out really well, I would have been like, oh my god, it's amazing, I love it. He's so smart. But, yeah, when it doesn't work, you look kind of dumb. Yeah, so far, actually. Good defense, though, by the Zerg. He's going to be able to clean this up with minimal losses, all things considered. Those Banshees are providing more problems than the Hellbats, it seems. Oh my god. If you can kill this... No. Brenda and Karen are on the job. If you would have killed those... Oh my... No. Oh, that's so dirty. What? Really? Well, remember that beautiful advantage of DRG? He decided to gamble away his life savings, okay? He cashed out his retirement. Put it all on black at the roulette table. Shouldn't have done that, man. Now you're gonna have to start again from scratch. Like, all jokes aside, though, this is a very awkward scenario because now Zerg is gonna sit at like 1,000 gas. And, yeah, no Spire to be seen anywhere. Terran's got the third CC done here. Obviously, they delayed theirs for quite a while. So, you know, it's not all over, but... Alright. I'm not a big fan of gambling styles in StarCraft. Like, I know it can work really well. I know some people love it. But I mean, in that case, you should just play Hearthstone, you know? Like, just switch to Hearthstone. It's easier. You can gamble all the time. It's great. No, I'm not a huge fan of these kind of things. So now you're gonna start up 12 mutas. Now, is 12 mutas... So here's the thing, right? 8 mutas at 6 minutes, pretty scary. 12 mutas at 8 minutes, nah. Nah, nobody really cares. That's the conventional amount, right? I'm assuming at the very least that there's gonna be defensive units available. Cure did see the Spire start back up, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he saw the cancel and then saw it like start back up right away. Immediately starts up the missile turrets right now. Somehow he did that during this little micro. Okay. Terran players, man, they've gotten fast. Speaking of APM, actually, let's have a look. Never mind, Zerg players, fast. Although that's obviously all rapid fire and low repeat rate keyboards and all that. Drilling claws coming up. Is that double armory? It is double armory. I love it. Big fan. Mutas go into the main base. This is neat. Very nice. I mean, you know what? Oh, stop gambling, mate! Stop it! Yeah, now you kill him, but like... DRG is a gambler. He's a gambler for sure. I don't know too much about DRG, but I know that he's a gambler. And that he's really good at StarCraft, and that he's been around since forever, and that he's won a lot of stuff in his day, but... Ay. Alright. Double Evo is coming up right now. Now, I want you to compare the timing here real quick, okay? So as we see the double evolution chamber start up at 9 minutes, Terran's already like a third of the way done on their 2-2. That's an insane difference. Generally speaking, Terran players like to max out with 2-2 and then just march across the center of the map. I think that's a very good idea, because he's going to finish 2-2 before Zerg can finish 1-1. That upgrade difference is so big, like, I don't even know how to describe it. Now, maybe DRG can go, like, bailing landmines or something, right? He seems to be a fan of those. Well, I mean, I'm judging by the way he's been playing so far in this game. He's probably going to be a fan of those. Zaps into the main base. Crosses his fingers, hoping there's no Widow Mines here anywhere. There's a couple of them walking up right now. This is mostly just the mutas taking a grand tour, though, of the Terran's bases. And on your right-hand side, the command center. Alright, just put all of your eggs in one basket here, Kier. Just go across. I think you should just go across with 2-2 finishing. I mean, you don't really have to, but yeah, I'm a fan. I think it's good. Reinforcements can deal with these mutas, man. Don't worry about them. Actually, that's a lot of mutas. Yeah, that's a lot of mutas. Wow, that's a lot of missile turrets, too. This is the get the hell out of my bases amount of missile turrets that we're seeing right now. How many are we at? 7. 7 missile turrets on 3 base. 5th hatchery finally comes up. 4th CC is floating on over. Yeah, Cure doesn't want to take the gamble. I can't really blame him. He was thinking about moving out there, I'm pretty sure, but he realized, you know what? If I was ahead at 2-2, I'll be ahead again as well with 3-3, right? Let's just start off 3-3 and push when that's done instead. At that point, though, Zerg is going to have probably 80 plus workers, right? And he's going to be pretty comfortable. Oof. So, while I was staring at those mutalisks, once again, a cheeky freaking Medivac flown across the map. Or flew across the map, rather. Has flown across the map. Fly, flew, flown. I think that's it. English verbs make no sense. Alright, 11 drones end up going down. Could have been 20. So I guess, you know, it's not all bad. The thing is, though, losing that many drones at this point in the game is just whatever. Zerg is going to replace those very easily. There's still one of them, though. Yeah. That one will be cleaned up here very shortly. Alright. Yeah, so now we're sitting back. Now we're just waiting. We're just waiting for someone to make a move. God, he really loves the missile turrets. That's 5 missile turrets per base. I've had Diamond League players, like Diamond League Terran players, explain to me that whenever they go up against mutas, they can't even afford 1 missile turret. Look, if Cure can afford 5, You can afford one, okay? It's like, oh, Lowko, it makes no difference. Mutas wreck my mineral lines anyway. He's got so many. Ay, ay, ay. Here we go, though. Cure decided that he wanted to get his boots dirty. Steps onto the creep. Ugh, nasty. He's gonna be able to get the kill, though, on the 5th base quite easily, but it's only half the Terran army. Right away, yeah, DRG decided, I'm gonna go, oh god, that's not a good fight for the Terran, or for the Zerg, though. Yeah, no. Right away, he decided to go for the counterattack. No Banelings in that army that was counterattacking. It makes this all a little bit dangerous. Banelings are running by this. They want to go after the Marines only. Rolling them into the Thors is not what you want. Reinforcing units, though, walk on over towards the other side of the map as well. And just like that, Cure obtains the victory. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button so you get notified as soon as videos go live. Today, as you may have already guessed, I want to give a special shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for all of your generosity. Many of you have been supporting the channel directly since literally like 2016 and before that, like whenever I started my Patreon page, which is awesome. So if you wanna join as well, you can head on over to patreon.com/LowkoTV. And if you have any questions, let me know down below in the comment section, and I will try my very best to answer all of them. But for now, thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.